Hey everyone, and welcome back to Don't Open That Door. I'm Justin, the survival expert, unlike Dan.
I'm Nico, the kid who would be having allergic reactions the entire time and probably still die due to unrelated causes.
And I'm Dan, the camp's orientation expert, unlike Justin.
Fair play, and Nico, I didn't know they were swimming in shrimp. But anyways, we're here today to discuss Nobody Sleeps in the Woods.
Tonight, Justin forgot to say the last word in the title of this flick.
Directed by Bartosz M. Kowalski, this stars Julia Vadawa Narkowitz as Zosha, Sebastian Della as Daniel, Olivia Castano as Aniela, Michael Lupa as Ulek, and Mikhail Zbroja as the two killers in the movie, the mutated twins, if you will. So we open with a postman visiting a house in the woods. He hears some sounds coming from the basement and then goes around to investigate and is actually dragged into the house. We then fast forward 30 years to a retreat for teens who are addicted to basically cell phones/technology. Everyone is separated into groups and we follow Zosha, Ulek, Aniela, Bartek, and Daniel as they head into the woods on a 3-day hike with their guide. So, sounds so good so far, right, Nico?
Yeah, pretty normal stuff, minus the camp being run by fucking dweebs, I guess. The group stops for the first night, though, and Daniel sneaks out to smoke some weed by a scenic lake. Honestly, this entire fucking movie was scenic now that I read that sentence out loud. Aniela joins him, though, and the two have a brief sexual encounter. Afterwards, Aniela heads back to camp, but Daniel stays to browse his cell phone, which he managed to sneak past the camp counselors. Unfortunately, a massive mutated man appears and brutally murders Daniel, then drags him away in his sleeping bag.
Well, okay, a slight downturn, but Dan, your namesake just got murked. I mean, hopefully things go well, though.
He was named after this character specifically.
I was, actually, The next morning, the group realizes that Daniel is missing, and against Ulek's protests, they split up to find him. See, Ulek is smart and knows what happens in horror movies, so he suggests not to do this.
Deadass, though. That's his reasoning.
Yeah. Zosha and Ulek head with the guide, while Bartek and Aniela stay behind in case he returns. Zosha and Ulek find the house from the beginning of the movie, and they find Daniel's body in the basement. They're then attacked by the same mutated man that attacked Daniel, but they do manage to escape. But as they're leaving, they notice that Daniel actually had a cell phone. But their guide who was with them was not so lucky, and she gets decapitated.
Unfortunate, but Nico, what happens next?
So, Zosha and Ulek wander through the woods until they find an old man living in a cabin. He tells them that there are these two mutated monstrosities, and they were twin brothers until they had a run-in with a meteor that changed them into the Last of Us looking motherfuckers that they are now. Meanwhile, Aniela is killed while having a conversation with Bartek, and he runs to find a church. The priest ties him to a chair, but one of the monstrosities appears and stuffs the priest into a wood chipper. And then attacks Bartek, going like, ooh, booga booga. Except he didn't actually say, ooh, booga booga. He just attacked him. Meanwhile, Zosha and Ulek decide that best plan of action is probably to return to Daniel's body and, try and get his cell phone. Their plan doesn't work out, though. And Ulek gets his tongue ripped out, and Zosha is captured. She manages to free herself and get access to Daniel's cell phone, but the battery dies before she can do anything with it. She grabs a blade lying on the floor, heads to the bedroom where one of the brothers is sleeping, and stabs him multiple times, leaving him seemingly dead, and then runs for her life. P.S. Also, she mercy killed Ulek.
Yeah, I figured he would die anyways from getting his tongue ripped out. But that's very true. It was a mercy kill. Dan, why don't you take this home for us?
So now we cut back to the old man who told Ulek and Zosha about the twins, and he hears a sound outside of his door, and he blindly shoots. Turns out that he killed Bartek, who somehow fucking managed to escape from the monster. Oh well. Zosha runs into a police officer who begins to take her to safety, but he stops when he hits something in the road. Turns out it was actually the remaining brother, and the officer is quickly dispatched. Zosha hops in the driver's seat of the police cruiser, and runs over the mutated brother several times before driving to safety. Now, the movie ends with several scenes showing that both brothers are actually still alive and the killing will likely continue.
Well, that's a movie. So let's go ahead and break down the technical, shall we? Let's start with the looks. Nico, you mentioned that you thought this movie was scenic. So why don't you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, this movie is something that helped me realize something that I like about horror movies. You love a horror movie set in a European landscape, forest region place out in the middle of nowhere. Midsummer, this, fucking others that I can't remember right now, but the movie looks good.
Wow.
Eloquent as always, Nico.
Demigod!
Too late. You had your chance. Go ahead, Dan.
I thought this movie looked great. As Nico said, very scenic. The gore, which I think we'll probably talk about a little bit more, was probably the best part of the movie, I thought. Yeah, visuals were great.
I agree. I really like this movie visually. We will be dedicating a special part to the gore in this movie. I will say it used practical effects to great effect. Get that?
Uh-huh.
And I loved it
Affects
for
or
that.
effects,
You
Justin?
know, can't hear you, Nico. So I'm trying to tell you that it rocked. It was really, really good. I loved the visuals. Now let's go ahead and talk about the sound. And I want to lead with something here. There were multiple themes in this movie that really took me out of pocket for some reason. There's a kind of almost heroic theme that plays when Ulick and Zosha go back to the house, and it just sounded weird. I don't know what I didn't necessarily like about it, but it just like didn't fit the scene to me. And I don't know, that didn't work. I laughed out loud during the sex scene. The music that was playing during that, I bust out laughing. I
Yeah.
thought that was hilarious. But I think another thing to talk about in terms of sound is dialogue or lack thereof. I love the fact that the two brothers, the twins, they kind of speak. First off, I don't speak Polish, right? So I don't know if they were actually speaking Polish, if that's like understandable, but the movie never subtitled what they said. And I enjoyed that because sometimes your killer can't be like a Freddy where they're always, you know, like busting out quips. Sometimes just the menacing silent type is cool, and they never once spoke to any of their victims. They just came, killed, left. Like that's exactly how they operated. And I really, really dug that.
Phrasing.
Go ahead, Nico, talk.
Nice segue there, bud. I really, really, really liked that aspect of the dialogue, yeah. But the thing that I noticed the most about this movie, I think, was just the music. Also, the gore would just be, you know, beautiful practical effects, like you both said. But there were some interesting arrangements, and I don't mean that in a negative way, like, oh, this kid's interesting or something. Like, no, I genuinely liked the choice of whatever sort of like weird zany synth sounds they were using for some of the scenes. It just felt very like surreal in just a very strange like fairy tale land kind of way. And I fuck heavy as hell whenever horror movies do something interesting with the sound beyond just like setting the mood and shit. So I really messed with that.
All right. Dan, what's your take?
I agree with Nico on that one. There's a lot of really cool sound stuff going on in the soundtrack. A lot of like grooves, a lot of like percussion loops and things that
Yeah,
have you kind of
right?
grooving a little bit. There's even one part where there's like the slide guitar over top of like a groove that was like cool. I was also kind of like, what's that doing there? That was kind of weird, but it was weird in a cool way. And then I even noticed like when Zosha starts stabbing up the big dude near the end, the psycho kind of string
Yeah.
hits, which I thought was kind of a cool homage, I guess. Now, this movie was filmed originally in Polish, so all of the dialogue is all overdubbed. I didn't like it, TBH. I understand that it's all overdubbed, but I thought it could have been done better. The dialogue did not. It was almost seemed like they didn't even try to get it to fit in with the location that they were in. Like it sounded very much outside of the movie. And I thought some of the voice acting was kind of flat. So I personally was not really a fan of that.
That's interesting. I didn't watch the dub, so
Oh,
I did not.
Netflix just
know
kind
that.
of played it like that, so I didn't change it.
Now Netflix knows the sub over dub.
No shit. That's wild.
My Netflix just knows it's sub over
You know,
dub.
I don't know
or
why I
dub.
didn't think to switch it because I always watch it in subtitles. I don't know why. One, I don't know why I did it.
Wow.
And two, I don't know why I didn't think of that. But yeah, the English dub was not great.
Good to know.
Huh. Well, thank you for reporting on that. Thank you for the report.
See also
on that.
Squid Game.
More on that later. Not this episode. So one thing I did want to talk about, which is something we've already kind of, we're beating around the bush. Let's just dive right in, which is the gore, the practical effects. This movie, even if you could give a rat's ass about the rest of it, you gotta check it out for the kills and the practical effect. I mean, so Nico, what did you think about just the level of gore that was in this one?
I really, really loved it. Everything that they showed with what they could, I was just so impressed. In particular, the scene where the police officer was, as you say, dispatched. That part I was just fucking impressed. I actually said, I was like, oh, okay, wow, yeah, they actually did it, huh? Because I wasn't expecting them to just literally vertically bisect a motherfucker like that.
Well, I was going to say this till the end, but I feel like we're here already. We may as well discuss it here. What's your favorite kill?
It's got to be that one just because the level of surprise that I had in that moment was it was delightful in the worst possible way.
I think you said it there. And it's really important to note that, again, like I said, there's no CGI. It's just all practical effects. And it's so, so, so awesome for that. Dan, I'm assuming you enjoyed it as well, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was my favorite part of the movie, and it just the I can't think of the right word, but the sheer veracity,
Audacity.
Also
that.
the itties it was just shocking at some of the stuff they did. That was really cool. So I was a big fan of the gore.
What's your favorite kill in this one?
Favorite kill, I think, was Aniela's death. Because Bartek is just like talking to her and you don't see her on screen. Then he just looks over and she has like a makeshift spear like shoved through her mouth. And one, it caught me off guard. But then two, he like freaks out and starts running away. You see the monster. But then the camera like pans out and from kind of far away, we see the monster lift her up on the spear and just toss her off of the spear. And her body just kind of like thunks on the ground very unceremoniously. And I thought that was kind of cool at how little they made her death out to be. It wasn't some long drawn out thing. It wasn't super HD. We're going to zoom in on all this and whatever. I mean, of course, that you do see that the aftermath of it real quick, but then just the tossing of the body, I thought was a cool extra touch.
I like that as well. My only problem with this scene, these are some like big husky motherfuckers, you know what I mean? This man is like a 0 in stealth. I have no idea how he managed to sneak up and kill this chick.
And how did he not hear
right
anything?
next.
Like, glorp.
Yeah.
Nah, they don't have 0 stealth. They have 100 stealth, bro, because they also sneak up on Daniel as well.
You're right. You're right about that. I guess I'm saying I'm incredulous because normally when you see them walking around, they're over here like lumbering. They're all... Yeah.
You can hear them snoring from outside the fucking house.
Bro, this is like when you start up Skyrim and you create a big-ass dude, but then after like 200 levels, 200 hours of playing later, you also maxed out your stealth.
Yeah. You're this big Conan the Barbarian looking motherfucker and somehow no one sees you.
I guess you're right. I forgot to say my favorite kill, which I was torn. I was very, very, very much torn. But it has to be Ulick getting his tongue ripped out by the one dude. That was one scene where I literally...
God, that was fucking brutal.
Bonner actually came over because he's like, what happened? Because the scene, dear audience, is one of the killers leans in and kind of almost like kisses him, but it's not really a kiss. And he literally grabs his tongue and just like rips it out.
He doesn't grab his tongue. He like bites his tongue.
He bites it. He bites it. I guess
like chewing.
Is biting
stuff.
not grabbing with your... Wait. Is grabbing not biting with your teeth?
No, biting
No.
could be grabbing with your teeth, but grabbing is not.
That's what I mean to say.
Right, but if it is with your teeth, then you have to clarify that, because otherwise it's implied that it's with your hands.
I mean, that's fair play.
What is this, like Persona 3 fucking attack types? You've got piercing, you've got bludgeoning, you've got slashing, you've got biting, you've got... What the fuck?
Shoutouts to Koromaru. But yeah, you're right. Like, it is for sure, a devastating method. I'll have to ponder more on this tonight, how a bite is a grab with your
Are
teeth.
feet shoes?
No, but your soles are. So...
Are they?
Are they?
Yeah. Because think about it. You got soles in your shoes.
Right, they're part
Right?
of your shoes,
Yeah.
but they're not your shoes.
Yeah.
Right. What I'm saying is the soles are in your shoes to replace the soles in your feet.
Nope.
Nope.
Moving on. My favorite kill was that one for sure. Although I will say, as soon as I saw there was a wood chipper by the priest, I was like, he's going in there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was
absolutely.
like, he's absolutely going in
I don't
there.
know if that was a callback to Fargo or if that was just a regular wood chipper scene.
You know, I've seen a bunch of horror movies where someone, you know, gets wood chipped, basically.
Mhm.
It happens in Dale and Tucker versus Evil as well.
Mhm.
So
God, spoilers.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm sorry. So it's just like that, I
Spoilers
guess.
for multiple
Jeez.
movies in this episode.
Yeah, we're not very good people. So I want to know real quick, speaking of not very good people, about the cast. How did you feel about them?
Wow.
And do you have a favorite character?
Holy
Or
shit.
if you don't have...
There were like one bad person. They were fine.
I think, well, I'll save what I think, but how'd you feel about the cast and who's your favorite / least favorite
My
person?
God.
Who wants to start? Justin wants to start. My favorite person. What is so funny?
I'll save this for later. I will talk about this later. Who wants to start? Justin wants to start.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Go off, King.
My favorite cast member was Bartek. This dude came through. He had some actual like real world problems to deal with. Cause you get like a little bit of characterization about him and then blow. Like this dude is killed. It's not off screened, but it's like his death is
In
such
fact,
an
it's through a
afterthought.
screen on the door.
I was just like, yo, why'd they have to do my mans like that? He couldn't even be killed by like the psycho killers like everyone else. He had to be, you know what I'm saying, like off screen like that, like an accidental death. I don't know. I thought they should have put more respect on his name. I really thought they should have. But my least favorite person
Is
was
Nico.
Ulick. Well, he's the Nico of the movie, but it's Ulick.
Wow. Wow.
You invited this. But the reason why I say this is because, yo, when this man was sitting here whining and crying, oh, I don't like being in these woods. Oh my God, I want to go home. Shut up. Yo, when Zosha slapped the shit out of him, I was so happy about that. I was so happy
Yeah, he
about
was a
that.
whiny little bitch.
Like, dude, you suck. I don't care about your like 9 million followers you got on Twitch or whatever else this man had going on in his life.
He was rank 2
Like-
on YouTube. Never said on what on YouTube. Just on YouTube.
No, I thought he was the rank 2. I thought he was the rank 2 Polish video game player. Like no specific game. He's just the number 2 video game
All
player
of
in
the
Poland.
video games.
All of yeah.
All of them. But I really didn't like him. And I thought that was why he got his tongue ripped out, because he was such a whiner, that's how he died. I thought that's what kind of, you know, the reference, the metaphor. I like that. I also like eating cow tongue. But Dan, who's
Yo,
your
cow tongue is so fucking good.
favorite?
That's tough because I guess I'm gonna have to say the main girl, Zosha.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really like any of the other characters, to be honest. Not all that
Oh,
much.
so you know they're not good people. Good
Yeah.
to know. Good to know.
So I'm gonna go with Zosha. I mean, I like the fact that, well, that's gonna sound fucked up. So her parents died in a car accident.
Oh my God. What were you gonna say? What were you about to fucking say?
So her parents died
What
in a
did
car
you
accident.
pivot away from and then land on that?
So I like the fact that at the end she runs over the dude. So she's in a car. They kind of bring back the car theme, and she runs him over multiple times. I don't like the fact that her parents died in a car accident. But I like that they brought it back full circle.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have
yeah.
explained yourself. It's already a wild podcast, but you've already explained yourself. So, Nico, I'm going to ask you who your favorite character was now.
My favorite character was also Zosha. I just liked her vibe in general. But I will say shout outs to Ulick for being like actually knowledgeable of the fact that he might be in a horror movie.
Yeah. Oh, that got a little meta, didn't
Yeah.
it? When he
Mhm.
started quoting the rules of horror movies.
Yeah.
That
It was like,
interesting.
bro, you just added your name onto the kill list because of that. You fucked up.
So, real quick though, Ulick is probably the biggest offender of this, but all the kids are here because they're addicted to tech, either video games, cell phones, social media, maybe, whatever it might be. So it's a tech retreat camp. How do you feel about that? And is that something you would ever partake in yourself, do you think? Question to the room, really.
I think it's stupid. I don't really think that we have too much of an issue, I should say, with people being too engrossed in technology. I think that in some cases, yes, it is an issue, but I also think that there's a lot of good shit to learn and good things to come of it as well. And there's new career paths and everything because of it. And I mean, I think Ulick even mentioned like he was about to go to Korea to compete for $500,000. And it's
Mhm.
like, I mean, if you think about all the like gaming kind of like that's a like pro gamer, like as sort of a joke it is, it's also a viable career now, and so is, web development, hacking, like all these different kind of careers come out of it. Bro, hackers are real. Like
Yeah.
No, hackers are real, bro. I've seen the movie, but I'm telling you, like, it's one of those things where it's like, yo, like, you go up to like I don't know, like your kid's like open house at school or something like that. And what does your dad do, Jimmy? I'm a pro hacker, man. Just, like,
and people
imagining
get
that
paid
shit.
big money by the government.
Oh, to hack into stuff?
Yeah.
Yep, they
I
do.
mean,
They
shit
do.
happens,
They
and
absolutely do.
So, like, I mean,
absolutely
I think
do.
that, yes, there is a line that can be crossed sometimes with too much. And I do think that being outside and things and having relationships with people outside of the internet is a good thing. But I don't know. I always think it sucks when you see like the stereotypical overbearing parent or whoever being like, oh, you stop playing on your phone so much. Oh, stop doing this so much. Like, I think a lot comes down to the context as well. But I don't know. And then it's a whole camp dedicated to that, I think is dumb. Just go camping, like regular camping. Like it doesn't have to be a whole camp dedicated to that. Like just fucking go camping or go walk outside for a bit.
Nico, a penny for your thoughts?
So, agreed with everything you just said there, Dan, but I have a slight hunch that it might just be a really tongue-in-cheek way to get past the old problem of like, oh, a lot of this could be solved if they just had phones, huh?
True.
Like-
That's a good point too.
I feel like it has to be at least somewhat self-aware in that regard, just because I was texting the guys while we were watching this, separately, but whatever, or while I was watching this rather, and I said that the fucking camp counselor McMustache man, you'll know who he is as soon as you see him from that description, I guarantee you. He needs to like fucking chill. He needs to take a Xanax, smoke some weed, something, because oh my god, this guy has a massive stick up his ass. And like, I can't imagine that there would be just that one character be that much of a fuck, and they wouldn't be at least a little self-aware. That's my hunch, though. It could be wrong.
Good ideas from you both. I think, much like any type of change, so they do say that multiple people have returned to the camp. You know what I mean? They're repeat visitors or whatever else like that. I definitely think that as a society, we're kind of sort of hooked on our electronic devices. The dopamine hit you get when you get a like on social media, that kind of thing. We've all done it. But I think that that's not something that somebody can send you to a camp for a week and you're going to change at all in any way, shape, or form.
Nah.
I don't think that's how it works. I think if you want to make a change in your life, that's something that a person has to do for themselves, Like I'm a real strong believer in that. So I think that, yeah, sure, you can do this, but the camp doesn't really seem to be about that. Or like, I don't even think it's possible in today's world to like really swear off a technology or anything like that. You just got to be in control of your usage. And that didn't, the camp was literally just, yo, let's
Amish
go.
people, bro.
Fair. But unless you're going to do that, like, you got to just, be in control. And I think the camp wasn't really about that at all. I agree with your point, Nico. I think it was kind of a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek way to circumvent a lot of problems that would come with that kind of thing. Also, the classic, we're out of range, out of cell service, out of whatever you want to say. So I thought it was an interesting enough premise. I mean, it was basically just like to get a group of kids to be like, why the fuck are we here? I guess not kids, like older teens or whatever else, but like the point remains. So I want to, again, change gears and talk about something else that's kind of unique to the movie. I've seen serial killers that made deals with the devil. I've seen serial killers that are in dolls. I've seen serial killers kill from beyond the grave. I've never seen a meteorite fall from the heavens and infect twins that then turn them into giant gargantuan monstrosities that look like they have staph infections across their whole body. And they're just out here trying. Have you ever really wanted to pop a zit? That's like these guys' whole makeup. Let me tell you what.
Yeah.
A little bit of tryptophobia in there as well. But anyhow, past all that, it was unique. I'd never seen a meteorite be the cause of something like this in a slasher. And what do you guys think about that? Did you think it was a unique twist? Did you enjoy it? Did you disenjoy it? I guess, did you not enjoy it? And just let me know. Put it all on the table.
I'm just wondering how the fuck that old man knew that story to that level of detail, honestly.
I'm assuming the mother must have told him.
I don't think she got the chance, bro.
Well, she did live for a while, and she did escape, I think, at some point. Because she was giving him food and stuff, so I'm assuming she would have to leave her house.
No, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, shit, it's kind of fucking wacky, but it's a lot easier to, I think, slip something like that in sometimes, just a weird old MacGuffin corrupting something, than it would be to add another contrived plot line about, like, oh, this was the curse of ancient Mary Babolith of the ancient tribe or something. Like, we're not here for that, man.
Fair play. Dan?
I didn't like it too much. I thought it was a little wacky, like Nico said, but I don't think it fit with the tone of the movie, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But I would have been fine with just no explanation as to these two brothers. Like,
they're just two like ultra psychos out here.
Just two guys,
deformed psychos. Okay, fine. Like I didn't feel the need for an explanation on them personally.
Quick question. When you saw them, did you immediately be like, nah, these dudes are not human?
No, not quite. I got a lot of like the Goonies vibes from them.
Oh, you got Goonies vibes?
Yeah.
I got Hills Have Eyes vibes.
Also, yes.
But as soon as I saw their faces, though, I was like, bro, you look like Groot. I was like, nah, you are definitely not human.
It was funny, though, because I don't quite want to say plot twist, but there's the reveal that there are two of them instead of just one, that there's brothers. Earlier in the movie, like before you know that there's two of them, you actually see two of them just not together. And at one scene, I was like, oh, the dude changed clothes. And then, later, oh, well, no, he didn't change clothes. It's a different person. But I was like, oh.
Yeah, there's also a picture of the two of them. When Ulick and them explore the house for the first time, you actually see a picture of the twins on the wall. And the camera lingers on it for like 2 seconds. It's very, very short, but the camera lingers on it. And I was like, oh, does that mean there's two killers? And then literally when the dude was wood chipping up the priest, I was like, oh yeah, there's definitely two. There's definitely two. But after much concise debate on the podcast, we've determined this movie does in fact have a sequel. And I want to know, do you think this movie's worthy of a sequel? Did it do enough in your opinion to really hit that nail, be in the gear? It deserves a sequel.
I think with how they ended it, yeah. Like, these are two just big juggernaut meat-looking motherfuckers, and you don't need much more beyond that for there to be a recurring horror villain. I think given that this is a, like a slasher, I think it leaves some room for the sequel to be even more creative, perhaps, with ways that they kill the brothers instead of everyone else getting killed.
Agreed. I do think as well that it's possible from my perspective at least, that these brothers might be a little more durable than your normal person,
Just
given some of the
maybe.
punishment that they've gone through. I wonder what it would take to kill them. But I also do agree with you, Nico. I think this movie did deserve a sequel, and it left itself perfectly open, so why not? But Dan, in agreement, disagreement?
Yeah, I think so. I'd be interested to see the sequel. And I mean, again, the best thing about this movie was all the gore and the kills. So I'm interested to see what kind of creative stuff they come up with on that one too.
Well, with that out of the way, it's time for the what would you do? So, the three of us are camping. We'll put ourselves roundabouts. I don't know. How old do you think those teenagers were? Maybe
17,
18, 17-ish?
18, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. So put us back in that age, and we all knew each other. We were all friends at that point anyways.
It's true.
So we're camping, and, we're on this tech-free, thing, and we're with our camping guide, and first up, we see that deer. So in the movie, the first thing the group comes across is like a deer that's got its like entire stomach region straight up carved out. Do you think anything of it at that point in time? Do you want to go back? Are you just like, whoa, what the hell did that? Like, what do you think?
I probably wouldn't have thought much of it. Like, probably would have just assumed that a bear was going nuts.
Mm-hmm. Dan, you're a man of the land. What do you say?
I would probably be on my guard after that because a lot of it wasn't eaten or anything. So, but I think I would know enough in the moment to realize it's not just a bear or something like that, I think. But I don't think I would think it would be like a crazy killer or anything like that.
All right. And then now we're going to fast forward a little bit. And let's say, so we all managed to escape from the house the first time. And we're like, oh man, like we have to come up with a plot. And the old guy told the three of us the story about how they're like twin brothers. Are we going to go back for the cell phone? Like,
Nope.
What would be your plan of action? What would you try to do?
Nope.
I mean, I agree. No, like DOTD says, no, we're not going the fuck back. But what would you try and do instead?
I would leave.
Just leave?
Yeah, I would go to the next village. You said 2 days away.
2
I'll
days
take my
away, yeah.
chances.
That's fair. That is pretty fair. But you have to spend the night out there in those woods. Those brothers might get you.
And they didn't say a direction.
Climb a tree.
I'll take those odds.
There's a lot of woods.
There's a lot of woods.
There's a lot of woods. Nico, are you in agreement with Dan? Like, we're just going to take our chances in the woods?
Oh, absolutely. The last time you and I did that, we ended up at a fucking Atmosphere concert.
Dude, you know what's funny? I was thinking about that. I was actually thinking about that. I was going to text you that.
Yeah.
Like, when they were trekking through the woods, that reminded of when me and you got stopped because they were like, you guys can't do this. That did in fact remind me of when me and you went like a little woodsy adventure. But nah, I'm in agreement with both you guys. I think we could take our chances and leave. Like, we could navigate by, I'm assuming Dan would have a compass because Dan always has a compass. So I know that he would for sure. Worst case scenario, I would like spit on a tree and see where the moss grows, bro. But like, I'm going to find my way. Don't worry about it. I will get out. Because the two of those brothers too, like I'd imagine if we kept up any kind of pace, they wouldn't be able to catch us.
Yeah, they're not quick.
Because they're not quick at all. Now, last scene is this. Let's say for whatever reason, maybe we wanted to save somebody, but we didn't leave right then and there. And now we're in a confrontation with the two brothers, maybe one at a time. How would you kill the brother kind of one-on-one? Let's say he was aware of our location and he was coming towards us and there was the three of us. What would you do? How would you stop him if possible or incapacitate him?
Gun.
Oh, you don't have a gun.
Okay, Dungeon Master, what do we have?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you asked. You check your pack and you actually, no. So you just have like maybe like we each have like a knife, or you can pick a knife or a large stick, like a heavy stick.
So I would have a knife, I guess, or done what Zosha did and taken like the big blade from the basement. Except instead of stabbing him, I would have cut his head off.
Agreed. And is decapitation kind of the go-to method for us?
Honestly, yeah, I think so.
Decapitation is like the only proven method 9 times out of 10.
This is fair and accurate.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I checked with the boys in the lab. It's true.
we just chop his head off. So now I want to take it to the critic review. And oh, buddy, a little bit of a discrepancy here. How do you guys think this did amongst, the critics? Good, medium,
Poorly.
or high, medium, or low?
Low.
I'm going to say middling.
Nico's got it again.
Oh,
This achieved a 67% with critics. Unfortunately, the audience has given it a 31.
Wow.
Ouch. So yeah, I want to know, why don't you guys give me just a brief summary of your thoughts and what you'd rate this one out of 100?
I'll go first. So I really, really mess with this movie, even though there are some parts of it that are just frankly a little silly. Like we were talking about this about just like 10 minutes ago, the dude who's like stealthing up behind someone and can somehow negate any sound of any weapons he uses as it pierces through a woman's fucking skull, like some fucking genjutsu shit over here or something. But keeping that in mind, that I had just an absolute blast with this. I really fucking dig this, and I think the positives outshine the negatives in every way. I'm gonna give this a 93.
wow.
Jeez, that's a big boy
It's
move.
a good fucking slasher.
It's a big boy moves. Dan, are you equally endeared to this movie?
No, I'm not. I didn't particularly like this one. I thought one of the very few redeeming qualities was the gore and the music. I enjoyed the music too. But, Nico had mentioned that there was like some plot hole kind of things in there. For me, it was tough to overlook those. There were just too many times where I was just left going, well, how did that happen? Or like, that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. Or like, there's a scene where Bartek is like locked in
Confessional.
he's like trapped in a confessional, and then the one of the brothers finds him, opens the confessional, and then it's just like assumed he dies, and then like 30 minutes later, you find out that like the one dude shoots him later on, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, how could he even possibly escape? Like that doesn't even make sense. Or show me how he escaped. Like maybe he played a trick on them. I don't know, but like show me that, because just leaving that just doesn't make any sense to me. And there was just so many times throughout the movie that I was like, this doesn't make sense. And it took me out of it. And I thought that a lot of the plot and just most of the movie was just, I feel like when they planned the movie, about the movie, they planned out all the kills and then just
Yes.
put everything behind that, which like, okay, fine, because the kills were great, but it was like the plot to me doesn't make sense. I wasn't a big fan of some of the acting, even like the I mentioned like the English overdubs, but even some of the sound, the ADR overdubs didn't quite line up with what was actually happening on screen either. There were some like extraneous sounds like zippers and things that didn't line up with the zipper actually zipping. Or there's one like really poor cut where near the end when the police officer is like reaching into his glove compartment for something, there's a very obvious cut. Like the film skips about 1 second ahead in time. Like it looks like, I don't know, something happened during the filming and they had to cut out a second, but had nothing to replace it with or whatever. And it's a very obvious cut. It just jumps. And I don't know, I just wasn't a big fan of it. I'm going to give this one a 45. As I mentioned previously, I am looking forward to a sequel because I think it could be good. I just didn't like the execution on this one.
Well, I will tell you, we are spread like flower petals in the autumn wind, because I'm going to give this one a 70. I liked it. I generally liked it. I think the biggest thing for me that was holding this movie back is the plot points. And to your credit, Nico, and to what you were saying, I thoroughly enjoyed this as a slasher. This is one of the better slashers I've seen recently. Viewers will know how I felt about Fear Street Part 2. And I will say I enjoyed this way more than I enjoyed Fear Street Part 2. Just because I enjoyed the kills. It really racked up. The last kill you get with the policeman getting literally bisected. Oh boy, I did not see that coming. And then his, organs and stuff like that are just like dripping onto the floor. And I'm like, oh man, that's nuts. That's nuts. So I love this movie for that. And I love them for their practical effects. And I couldn't give that enough credit. It's amazing. Any fan of slashers would love to see it. And if this movie had come out, maybe like in the 80s or something like that, we'd be bowing down as a cult classic for all the crazy kills that it did. But it didn't come out in the 80s. It came out in 2020. And I felt like it needed to do a little bit more in terms of the plot. Again, you don't have to have a Midsummer plot, but to Dan's point, there was a lot of things that happened. Like, for example, there's one guy who knows about everything that's happening. He just chooses not to tell anyone. He doesn't tell the cops. He doesn't tell anyone at all.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I know there's definitely some psycho killers out there. Just, sit tight.
They also ripped his legs off at some point in the past. And he's just like, whatever.
It happens. So there's that. But also consider that there's this tech retreat camp that's been going on for it's not the first time. So it's at least the third time. Y'all didn't know you were setting up camp in like this zone where everyone would get murdered?
No,
that seems...
to the credit,
I don't
though,
know.
that the two brothers just got out, like, right then.
Had they?
Yeah, they just murdered their mother or whatever. I mean, when Ulick and Zosha go down into the basement, they see the mother's body there.
Yeah, because she fell in when she was like dragging the like corpse of some animal in there, which I thought was funny as fuck. Because like they set the shot, I was like, she's gonna fall into this fucking basement.
Definitely.
Maybe I'm tripping. I thought that was older because how else did the guy get his leg ripped off then?
I don't know.
When did
That's
that
part
happen?
of my confusion.
That was my confusion too, I guess.
And how did he get away? After I think I was confusing my enthusiasm for just how fun the movie was and this episode with, I think I inflated my score. I'm going to give it an 83. You've swayed me.
He dropped it a little bit.
You've swayed me.
He dropped it a little bit. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 70. Again, like, I think it's a fun time. I think if you close your eyes and don't think about it, or not close your eyes, but I think if you turn off your brain and don't think about it, it's fun.
If you close your eyes and go to sleep,
I enjoyed it. A 70 is what I got. And I will say, I do recommend this movie if somebody wants to see it. But the question is, Dan, do you recommend this movie?
I'm going to say no. I think the kills were awesome, but I think that there's plenty of other horror movies out there that also have incredible kills too.
That's fair.
I've seen people get bisected in movies too, So
Nico, would you have recommended this?
I would have recommended it, yeah.
Well, we know Dan wouldn't have, and I also wouldn't have given it the Golden Seal.
No.
But would you have given it the Golden
No.
Seal? All right. So, unfortunately, this movie does not get a recommend from the pod. Surprisingly, from Dan of all people.
You
Dan.
kept your cards close to your chest. I'm impressed.
I'm a hater on this one.
Yeah, dude. I thought it would be Nico, if anything, who was going to come through with the hate. But once again, I'm right, but misguidedly right. It happens a lot. So if you want to drop us a line, though, and let us know how much you agree with me and Nico or how wrong Dan was, hit us up on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at DOTD Horror. We're also on Facebook. Don't open that door. Plus, you can catch everything we've done on our website. That's dotdhorror.com. But till then, take care of one another. Keep yourself safe. And as always, dear listener, don't open that door. Bye.